Well, happy Monday. How are you? Going to do a relatively short video today answering, they weren't really questions, but they were statements that were made to a statement I made last week. You can scroll down till you see a pink graphic, and it was, what is stopping you from going after your paralegal dream job right at the moment? And you had to fill in the blank. So I answered every single statement that was made pretty much last week in videos 1 through 7, and then there were a couple more. So let's talk about number 1. I'll cover both of these in this video. One commenter said, you know, I really, and I'll paraphrase this, $10 an hour or an unpaid internship, I can't do that. And nor should you. Nor should you do that. You should not settle for $10 an hour or an unpaid internship. The thing is, what you don't realize is that you don't have to settle, but you also prepared. And you know, I say this, if you're watching my videos, you'll hear me say this over and over again. What are you offering besides your past experience, perhaps in an office, which you need to have some type of office skills, or you're relying on your degree or a certificate, and that's it. So that's not enough. So you've got to show and tell. And you remember doing that in elementary school? I remember it was a disaster. I brought our pet cat to school for show and tell. It did not go well. But show and tell is what you do in order to get your foot in the door. And so what do you know how to do? That's how you get $10 an hour is not what most beginners should accept. But you've got to say, I know how to do XYZ in order to get more than $10 an hour or whatever ridiculous amount they're offering. I mean, who can we all know how tough it is to exist on minimum wage. Been there. You know, I worked fast food. I worked retail, no commission. Should you settle for that type of ridiculousness? No. No, you shouldn't. But what are you going to do about it? Say, how are you going to overcome the employer's doubts? You have to do that. Okay? Yes, and that's part of what I teach. There's going to be a separate course coming out just for, I'm taking it right out of the class. Cover letter, job ads, interview. People are sorely deficient in knowing how to analyze the job ads and cover letter, do that properly, and also do an interview properly. I mean, you cannot sit there like a lump in an interview without offering, okay? And you cannot just arbitrarily send out cover letters and resumes hoping something will take hold. It doesn't work that way, not in the legal field. And in most places it doesn't work that way. You want to knock it out of the park? I mean, you should want to knock it out of the park. And you've got to offer up something. Like why are you, even at the entry level, why are you the person for the job? What do you know how to do in the law office? What can you tell me? You cannot just hope that they're going to look at your resume and see a 2-year degree or a certificate and go, whoa, you're a fit for this law firm. That's where the stopping point is. And people will say, well, they're not hiring me because I don't have experience. No, you're not explaining what you know how to do to help them. Boom. Okay? So, do you have to accept that ridiculousness of a $10 an hour job in the legal field? No, you do not. I'm here to tell you. But then you have to step up to the plate in a bigger way in explaining what you know how to do. Okay, so another commenter said, and I totally get this, that there's a fear of going in as a beginner because it may tarnish the reputation, may do something to mess up the reputation. Okay, let's cut to the chase with this. When you go in as a beginner, you're establishing a reputation. You're at square one. I don't care if, like another commenter on my YouTube channel said her sister went into the legal field at age 60, I don't remember if it was 62, 63. Oh yeah. So those of you who think you're in your 30s and you're too old, and she landed a job. So let's stop that nonsense. Okay? Let's stop playing into some type of label society wants to put on, older people. Really? In your 30s? But I understand that, but you can't listen to it. Especially when people in their 60s are landing jobs. So, when you start entry level in a law firm, legal department of a corporation, government agency, I don't care where you go to work, insurance company, you're starting at square one. They don't care if you were the president of some huge corporation. They don't. You're starting at square one. They don't care if you have a PhD in economics. You're starting at square one. You have to build that reputation from the beginning. So, making sure that you know how to do things in that office properly is very important. If you didn't learn that in a 2-year degree program or in your certificate program and how to be prepared to work for that attorney, that's the gap that's missing from those curriculums. Okay? So, unfortunately, there's no reputation to tarnish. You might have built a reputation somewhere else as an extremely hard worker, and you have all these qualities, right, that you know you do, but they don't know you have them. And they're hiring you based on, a conversation maybe, and you knocking it out of the park in an interview, but now you have to prove it. And now you have to double check yourself every step of the way, and you have to know what to do on day 1, 2, and 3. Because they don't put you through school, and they don't put you through how to, even if the ad says training. They don't. No one has the time to do that. They don't have a separate department for that. Nobody can afford that. They don't put any time into that. So, when I saw people flailing around in this department, that's why I felt it necessary to put the course out there, because that's the gap that is not being taught anywhere. Don't worry. You should worry about building a rock-solid reputation, but as I say in my legal break-in book, that there are certain your skills. One of the skills you'll build your reputation on will be proofreading your work. Your attorney is never your secretary. Don't get into diva or devo mode about that. Saying, well, it's their work. They're ultimately responsible for that. Don't do that. Take pride in your own product that you put out and make sure there's not a single error in it, and you hand it over to the attorney and it has to be perfecto. That's how you should look at it, and hand it over. And then when they want to make changes, great. But if they're not correcting anything you did, bravo. That's the goal. That's the goal. You don't want to file stuff with the court and it's a mess because you didn't care enough and you didn't know what you were doing. You know, so you have to know what you're doing before you open that door on the first day and sit down. I know. Scary prospect, right? So, yeah, there's going to be a separate course coming out that I'm going to be working on tonight, and making sure all the ducks are in a row. This will be for absolute beginners, okay? I mean, seasoned veteran paralegals can take advantage of it because most people don't know how to do this correctly, whether they have all the experience in the world or not, as far as doing a cover letter, searching the job ads, or doing the interview properly. But this is geared towards beginners or people who are brand new, are going to be or are brand new graduates from paralegal, this paralegal studies curriculum, or a certificate program online, or neither of those. That you're a beginner, you should know how to apply correctly. Okay, so that is it. You don't have to settle for a $10 job. You don't. But you have to bring something to the table and show it to them. And number two, there's no reputation as far as they're concerned, really. You're beginning. Important to be prepared when you walk in. And I've had many people contact me saying, I don't feel prepared. Even after the 2-year program or the certificate program, I feel that I'm going to go in there and I don't know what I'm doing. You are feeling the right feeling. So when I tell you to research those areas of law as to what a paralegal would be doing in, whether it be criminal law, personal injury, probate, estate planning, what in the world is the paralegal doing? Not what the attorney is doing. What is the paralegal doing? We're not doing what the attorney's doing. Okay? It's a separation. Okay? There would be no, there would be no reason to have a paralegal there, or a legal assistant, or a legal secretary, if the attorney wanted to do all that. This is management, administrative expertise in managing everything about that office. So, all right, so while I'm on here, do you have any questions at all? If you do, or if you're posting and I can't see it, I'll answer later. But if you have any other comments, and you could post under that graphic below, that was, I think it was from maybe Thursday or Friday, and you can see it, it'll be pink, and it'll have a blank at the end of the sentence, and you can read other people's comments there. And I did videos on everybody's comments, I believe. So, yeah, so thank you for answering that, because this helps. You post questions or you post statements like that, that lets other people feel that they're not so alone in this journey. And the journey is totally doable if you don't give up and you listen to what I'm saying. As a 30-year veteran, it's still the same. You can get in the same way that you got in 30 years ago. And some people had degrees and some people did not. Some people, I don't know that there was a certificate program out then. I don't think so. It was just a degree program. Some people had degrees, others did not. And 30 years later, it's still the same, and the same people can get in. So always understand that. But unless you show and tell what you know, you're going to have a tough road. So you have to be able to do that. You have to play like you're explaining to this person that's going to hire you way before you get interviewed. What do you know how to do to help them? You know, I was asked that as a person with experience. I was asked that in an interview by only one attorney in 30 years. I have this problem. How can you help me? You know, and I needed to answer that question, and I had it right on the tip of my tongue because I had been using these things that I teach in my course. So if you have not taken advantage of the hub, the Paralegal Hub, then just simply go to the website, and it's a free hub with resources in there. No pressure, no salesmanship going on in there. You just go in the hub and look around and avail yourself of those resources, okay? But go to the website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com. Write that down, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, same name as this page. And then go over there and look for 19, just look for the number 19, and that will be a free resource, but you have to, when you click on that link in there, you have to sign up to get to the hub, and you'll get a free chapter of my book, Legal Break-In, as well, and other resources. One of the resources in there is the 4 hot areas of law for the next, I believe, 18 months to 2 years. And it's already starting to explode in certain areas. 2 areas that I mentioned in that video are exploding on the job market, and they're going to have too much work, and they're going to need to hire more people. So you need to focus on what I'm saying in that video. Okay, even if it's not an area that you ultimately want to be in, that can be a foot in the door. And don't overlook that, and you know, stay in it for a year or 2 and then move on if you want to. And you can do that as a paralegal because you're building a flexible career. So the first couple years you have to soak it up like a sponge, and then I'm telling you, you're going to have a rock solid, powerful career. Okay, so hang in there. If you can join us in class, do it. If you don't feel prepared as a upcoming new graduate, or you've graduated, can't get your foot in the door, then you need to join us in class. And stay tuned for more mini products that will be very helpful so that you can take it in smaller chunks, perhaps, and not the whole course, but take a small portion of it. That will be helpful to you. So hang on tight, that's coming. And I will talk to you in the next live. In the meantime, any questions, comments, post them here, okay? And that will be it. So have a great one, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.